I don't know if how many of you saw that video that Jim Bolte was mentioning at CRP. There was a video documentary on how she had gone on the Senate floor recognizing the Vietnam refugees who were trying to escape and come to the United States. And she was literally manhandled and taken off the Senate floor. It was very heartbreaking to see something like that with such a distinguished person to be treated like that on the Senate floor. But in your brochure you will see her bio. I know time constraints, but I just want to read a little bit of what is said about her. She's, as a first-generation American senator, Nguyen is proud to give back to the country that has given her freedom and liberties not afforded to her by her country of origin. She was born in Saigon, Vietnam. Senator Janet Nguyen and her family escaped homeland on a small wood 10-meter boat sailing across South Asia Sea to reach freedom. You can read the rest, but just thinking that when we're all talking about refugees, she's done it right. She became a legal resident. So it's with great pleasure that I introduce Senator Janet Nguyen.
Thank you. The chairman has just left, but I thank him for his words of wisdom and steadfast leadership as we enter a very busy 2018 election cycle. I also, though, want to thank and express my deep appreciation to the California Federation of Republican Women, especially your Vice President, Sue Blair, for inviting me to address this weekend's 2018 Board of Directors meeting. As a fellow Federated member from the Garden Grove chapter, it is a great honor to speak before you this morning. Before I begin, though, I would also like to take a moment to congratulate the California Republican Women Federated for your long and strong advocacy and grassroots efforts for the Republican cause in California. The fact is, when women turn out in great numbers, we win. For those who may not know my life story, the principle of freedom is extremely important to me. It was a search for freedom that compelled my family to escape from Vietnam in the 80s, actually in the 70s, arriving here in the 80s. After living in several refugee camps, we were very fortunate to find refuge in the United States, and with it, opportunities that were previously non-existent. After much work and dedication, my family and I proudly achieved the American dream. My American dream consisted of giving back to the nation that has given me so much. That is why I embarked on a path of public service in college, and I never looked back. Arriving in this country as refugees, we were very poor. We were on food stamps, on welfare as well. And I was cleaning houses at the age of 10 just to make a little money for school supplies. Over the past decade, I've been proud to count on the support of my constituents, whose confidence has allowed me to serve on the Garden Grove City Council, be the first woman in over 35 years, the youngest elected at the age of 28, and the first Asian American woman. Then I went on to the Orange County Board of Supervisors, where on election night, I won by 52 votes. The next day, when provisional ballots were counted, I lost by 7. I asked for a recount the following week, I won by 7. But it isn't over yet. They sued me to court. The court deemed that I won by 3 votes. 1, 2, 3. And since then, my husband and I have 2 children, so I'm guaranteed at least 4 votes in my family. With that win, I was able to achieve a few historical landmarks. I was the first woman to this day elected to the Orange County Board of Supervisors for the 1st District. I was the youngest elected at the age of 30, and also the first Asian American to serve on the Orange County Board of Supervisors. And today, I am honored and privileged to be able to serve the California State Senate. When I ran for the 34th Senate District in 2014, we were running to keep the Democratic Party from holding a 2/3 supermajority voting bloc in the state Senate. My seat was lost to the Democrats for over 16 years. And because of this, I became the #1 target for the Democrats statewide. We were outspent 3-1 in the millions of dollars and faced an unrelenting smear campaign. Basically, they threw the sink at me, the toilet, everything inside the toilet. But there is one thing I tell everyone. Going back to my first city council race, I've always been outspent, out-endorsed, and outraised. But I've never, ever been outworked. Every day I was on the ground walking, meeting with residents, and making calls, despite running in a district that had a plus 6% Democratic advantage, despite being outspent in the millions of dollars and outspent in the native campaign. We were victorious in 2014 with a plus 70% margin. I actually got more votes than Governor Jerry Brown did in my own district. We were very successful in holding off the Democratic supermajority for the 2015-2016 legislative session. We were successful in holding the line against tax increases and threats to Prop 13. If you can recall, 2015-2016, there was no tax increases coming from Sacramento. Without a supermajority, we were able to force Democrats to bring Republicans to the negotiating table on key pieces of legislation. I went into the state Senate with a target on my back, and my time there has not been without incident. As mentioned, on February 23rd of last year, I experienced firsthand what it means to have my rights violated. I was removed from the floor of the California State Senate by Democratic leadership with the chief sergeant on one side and the other sergeant on the other, for trying to set the record straight about Tom Hayden and his support of the communist North Vietnamese government during the Vietnam War. Sadly, my efforts were met with quick disapproval. My microphone was immediately shut down, and I was forcibly removed by the state Senate sergeants. This experience was extremely shocking because I truly believe in freedom of speech, and I've never expected to witness, much less be involved in, the silencing of a sitting senator on the floor of the California State Senate. If there's one place that our freedom to speak should be protected, it should be on the Senate floor. If that place is not protected, where will it be? The days following this incident were difficult for me and my family, but through it all, I was very encouraged by the outpouring support from veterans, community members, and organizations like yours. The support I received throughout the experience was very important to me, and I thank you for standing by me. In the face of attacks from Democrats, I've weathered challenges and have stood firm with the promises I made to the residents of the 34th Senate District. Since taking office, I've received a 97% conservative rating by the American Conservative Union, an A rating from the Howard Jarvis Taxpayer Association, 100% rating from Caltax, and an A rating from California Chamber of Commerce. These ratings represent my commitment to protecting residents from policy that overburden our economy and which impact the day-to-day needs of our families and businesses. In my efforts to protect families, I've stood up for California students pursuing a college degree by calling for a cap on out-of-state students entering our UC system. It is a shame that the great state of California struggles to admit California students who are not only eligible, highly qualified, but who have worked hard to enter one of our universities, which is one of the best in the nation. Additionally, I've fought for our students by seeking to impose tuition caps that will keep the price of college affordable. According to an audit released in March of 2016, the UC system was cited for its lack of prioritizing California students and found that other options for generating savings and revenues were ignored. And with 2 military bases located in my district, I've also been an advocate for the care of our veterans and military families. As a member of a military family myself, I've championed this cause with a sincere heart. I know that our service members and their families have sacrificed a great deal for the sole reason of defending our freedoms. I remember the night when my brother was being shipped off to Iraq after September 11th at Camp Pendleton. It was difficult. My parents actually wouldn't even allow him to sign up. He signed up and then told them. Because half of our family died either serving in Vietnam or starvation or was just at the wrong place when the bomb came. So my parents didn't want to see that, but he wanted to serve, and he did. I put forth a veterans package to address the mental and health care needs of our veterans and to acknowledge the great sacrifices made by the men and women in our nation's armed forces. I've been a representative for the 34th Senate for almost 4 years. We have seen the gas and vehicles tax increase. We've seen the cap and trade bill increase. As mentioned, last election was very difficult for me. I am up for re-election this year. I am one of the 3 targeted Republican senators in the state of California, with a plus 10% Democratic advantage district. One of the candidates that run against me is someone from the city of Long Beach. I need your help. The other 2 candidates also need your help. They're in Central Valley. We hold strong. We will have our 2/3 votes. But we can't do it like Senator Chairman Gigliotti stated. He's doing his part. I'm doing my part. I commit to you. We will finish that finish line. And we will finish as me, a sitting senator. But I can't do it alone without your support and your help. The Women Federated have always been there with me and have helped me throughout my elections. I've ran 7 elections. I've always lived in a Democratic district. I've always been outspent, out-endorsed, and outraised. But we've always won all 7, even by 3 votes. In an election, a win is a win. You either win or you lose. So I ask you, please, if you're in our Orange County area, or if you're in areas that don't have targeted races, help those chapters that the chairman is putting up across the state of California, make phone calls into our district and help us. The state Senate, Republican, can't stop the 2/3 votes in this election cycle. We do it, there won't be health care, single payer, with 50% deduction. An idea that is unreasonable and unaffordable. And that 50% deduction that Chairman's talked about is actually, if every individual in California is working. So we're talking about 40 million people. Not 40 million people working, because a lot of people retired. My 2 children aren't, they're 7 years old and 4 years old. So for everybody else, anticipate it's probably going to be more than 50%. And that's deduction before you can get your paycheck. That's automatic deduction from your paycheck. It's unaffordable. We have to find a way to help everybody, but not in an unsustainable way. Help me to continue to serve and be your voice in Sacramento. Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Because of time, it's my fault. I want to take one question.
Hi, I'm Valerie from the High Desert. Listening to you speak, it just makes me so impressed and amazed at what you do.